History is filled with kings who built palaces, but only a few built civilizations. Harun al-Rashid was one of them. To his enemies, he was a ruler whose armies shook empires. To his people, he was a caliph who walked the streets of Baghdad in disguise, listening to their struggles with his own ears. To the world, he became the face of a golden age. A time when knowledge flourished, wealth flowed, and the capital of Islam outshone every city under the heavens. And we made them leaders, guiding by our command, and we inspired them to do good deeds, establish prayer, and give zakat, and they were worshippers of Us. Surah Al-Anbiya 273. The year was 786 when Harun al-Rashid ascended the throne of the Abbasid Caliphate. He was young, only in his 20s, yet already known for courage, intelligence, and faith. His father, al-Mahdi, had prepared him for leadership, and his mother, al-Khayzaran, had shaped him with wisdom and strength. When he took the mantle of Caliph, the empire stretched from the shores of North Africa to the mountains of Central Asia. But what he would make of it was greater than mere borders. Baghdad, the round city his forefathers built, stood at the heart of his empire. It was a jewel on the Tigris River, a city of scholars, merchants, poets, and warriors. Under Harun's reign, it blossomed into the greatest capital of its age. Palaces rose with gilded domes, markets overflowed with goods from every corner of the world, and mosques rang with the voices of scholars debating law, philosophy, and science. The city became not only a seat of power, but the center of human knowledge. Harun loved learning, and he knew that a civilization is not built only on swords, but on wisdom. He patronized scholars, inviting them to his court, rewarding them with wealth and honor. He established libraries that grew into vast houses of knowledge, preserving texts from Greece, Persia, and India. Translators worked tirelessly, turning the wisdom of the ancients into Arabic, so that Baghdad became the heart through which the knowledge of the world flowed. This movement would one day give birth to the Bayt al-Hikmah, the house of wisdom, a beacon of learning that inspired centuries. Yet Harun was not only a lover of knowledge, he was a man of justice. Stories tell of how he walked the streets of Baghdad in disguise at night, listening to his people, seeing their lives with his own eyes. He judged not from palaces alone, but from the voices of his subjects. When injustice reached his ears, he acted swiftly, for he believed that the Caliph was not only a ruler, but a servant of God, accountable for every hungry child, every widow, every wronged soul in his realm. His reign was also one of wealth, the likes of which dazzled the world. Baghdad became a marketplace where caravans arrived with silks from China, spices from India, furs from the north, and gold from Africa. The Caliph's court glittered with splendor. Envoys from far lands came bearing gifts, and Harun returned them with treasures that showed the might of his empire. Once, he sent a clock to the ruler of the Franks in Europe, a clock so intricate that when it struck the hour, doors opened and knights rode out in miniature procession. The Europeans were awestruck, for they had never seen such marvels. But Harun's wealth was not only in gold. It was in the flowering of poetry and music, in the brilliance of architecture, in the strength of his armies, and in the spirit of his people. His reign became the backdrop for tales of 1001 Nights, where storytellers imagined the Caliph wandering through Baghdad, encountering merchants, beggars, magicians, and dreamers. Whether legend or truth, the stories captured the essence of his era, an age of wonder. Yet Harun al-Rashid was no mere dreamer. He was a commander who led his armies against the Byzantines, striking deep into their lands, forcing emperors to pay tribute. When he prayed in the mosque, he bowed his head in humility. But when he mounted his horse, he rode as the guardian of an empire that no enemy could easily defy. He balanced the sword and the book, the palace and the mosque, power and mercy. Still, no golden age is free of shadows. Harun faced challenges within his court, rivalries among nobles, and the growing complexity of governing a vast empire. The very wealth of Baghdad bred jealousy, and the unity of the Caliphate would later be tested. But in his time, the Abbasid world knew a glory unmatched, a brilliance that made Baghdad the envy of kings and the jewel of civilization. Harun al-Rashid's reign became the standard by which others were measured. To say someone lived in the age of Harun was to say they lived in the time of greatness, when knowledge, faith, and power walked hand in hand. His golden age did not last forever. No age does. But it left behind a light that continued to shine for centuries, a reminder that when justice is upheld and knowledge is honored, even the deserts can bloom into gardens.